This Facebook Live video brought to you by Lawrence Kia. You can check them out in lawrencekia.com. Of course, if you don't want to drive out, but it's a short drive out there to East 23rd in Lawrence. Check them out at lawrencekia.com. I'm going to talk to you about Danny Duffy today and the announcement that came out that he was suspected of a DUI. He apologized to the team in a statement today, as well as Dayton Moore speaking on behalf of the team as well. First, it's easy. The first couple things people will say are, how does it happen? How do you get yourself in a situation when you have that kind of money? How do you not? Those are fair. Those are completely fair questions. I do pose at least waiting to reserve some judgment until we know the full story. And you thought, okay, maybe Danny Duffy was going to give you the full story today. Well, he can't. Like, maybe you think he should, but he can't. He spoke today like a guy whose lawyer says, don't say anything until we know. And you would follow that same advice, as would I. It'd be nice if you had answers, every answer. You might not have all the answers ever. It's disappointing. There's no question about it. Dayton Moore didn't hide behind that. I thought he spoke great today. He spoke a lot about that, about disappointment, and how, in the minor leagues, they suspend players right away. And in this situation, maybe it'd be different if the Major League Baseball Players Association didn't have rules that prevented those very things from happening. That at least suggested to me he was strongly considering a suspension, or would strongly, how about maybe isn't, but would strongly consider that if that option he felt were on the table at the time. And maybe it is down the road, but he doesn't know. And he hadn't heard some of the different reports that were reported on between the lines with Kevin Keatsman, and some of the first-hand accounts from the people who were working at the Burger King at the time. It's scary. It's scary for a lot of reasons. And one other thing Dayton Moore had right was, it's a problem. He doesn't know if it's big or little yet, but it's a problem. If you put yourself in that situation, then you have some kind of problem, either management or it's a bigger issue. And by the way, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, nor would I claim to be. I've had my own problems at times with this. And it's why you can understand where Danny Duffy's coming from and how apologetic he was to the young fans that look up to him and wants to continue to do great things for the city. It's a mixed emotion. There's plenty of times when athletes get knocked down from where the heroic stage that they were before, and Danny Duffy has done nothing but amazing things this year for the Royals and for the city. His work with Noah's Bandages and the money he's donated to pediatric cancer, the efforts he's put forward in helping the city heal from a wound with Yordano Ventura, but that's another example of why what he did and what he allowed himself to do is insane. He just watched someone die in a wreck, and there's no official report on whether Yordano Ventura died in a DUI accident or if he was just recklessly driving in the middle of the night. We haven't heard that yet. The toxicology hasn't been made public yet. But that's a risky set of driving. That's reckless driving, even if you don't realize, even if that's not what happened to Ventura. He saw firsthand the risk that you take in doing that. The moments, if it happens, if any of the reports are true about, he tried to get a guy to sit, it doesn't matter. None of that matters because all of us would panic in a moment when it was very serious and you were facing very serious legal trouble. And so if some of those are, it makes, I don't know, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't justify it, but you see what happens in that moment. It's life-altering, and it's going to be life-altering for Danny Duffy, and he's going to pay a very serious price for that. There are morality clauses in contracts, and that could come back for him. It could go back for him in a lot of different forms, and I think he knows how serious it is. As far as how apologetic he is for, or if he's going to admit those things, we're just going to have to give it time. There aren't enough details out yet because the legal process is going to have to take some time on this one. Honestly, it's not an easy situation. If he was your favorite player before, does it mean it has to change that he was your favorite player? No, but understand his flaws and understand the flaws in which you point to people being heroes. It's not the Charles Barkley, I'm not a role model, right? No, I think Danny Duffy sees himself as a role model. That's the even scarier part about the entire situation. This video brought to you by Lawrence Kia. You can check them out at East 23rd in Lawrence or at lawrencekia.com. Just a short drive over to Lawrence Kia. Appreciate you spending the time with us here on Sports Radio 810.